advisor at Briskinfosec. Today, as you have guessed the topic, whoa, what was that attack? Today, we are going to run you across the different kind of attacks that happened in the recent month and how it has impacted across the industries. And that's very important. You know why? Because once we know what has happened, that is the time where we are prepared, and that is the time we can take an action against our attack. Today, for this discussion, I have been specifically joined by my colleague. Let me add her. Yeah, by my colleague Lakshmi, who is joining in from this nearby room, and she is going to give us her expert's opinion on what was the attack all about and what happened the last month. Lakshmi, good evening, and thank you for joining in today.
Good evening, Abhishek. Thank you so much for this opportunity so that I can get an idea on what actually has to be done.
Actually, for the audience information, Lakshmi is the one who has compiled the report. So it makes more easier for her to tell us what are the trends that happen across the month for this report. After this live is done, we will put this report out on the social media where all of you can download this report and read for yourself what we are talking about. So Lakshmi, let's get going. And first
Yes.
of all, very important is what is the trend that you have seen in this month in terms of the Threatsploit report that you have compiled? What was the trend all about?
Yes, Abhishek. Actually, this month is a mixture of all types of varieties of news that we have covered this month, which will contain the informations from the including the data breaches, from the ransomware attack, healthcare data breaches, online scams, and many more to go, Abhishek.
So, what was the specific trend we are going to talk here about? Like a particular trend that we identify. So, what was the trend for this month where you kind of say this is the highlight of the month?
If we have to talk about the particular trend, we can talk about ransomware. So that's very trending this month. So that is one of the biggest data breach of this month, Abhishek.
So, the ransomware is the key. So, let's magnify further of the ransomware. So, Lakshmi, if we have to tell the audience, presuming that most of them may not understand the technical jargons, how would you define a ransomware?
Okay. For if you have to say in layman perspective, ransomware is a poisonous program which once runs in any particular system, it will encrypt the data, and in order to decrypt that particular data, it will ask for the ransom, which is money in return. That is ransomware.
So ransomware is like a hostage, just like
Yes.
how terrorists take things for hostage, and then you have to talk to them for money or whatever they want to do. So it's
Yes.
basically in that kind of thing. So let's move to the second part of that question. Since the trend is about ransomware, how
Yes.
does ransomware spread? How does it
Okay.
spread across the system?
Okay, ransomware can be spread in many several ways. The first thing, it can spread through the phishing emails containing the malicious links or the malicious attachment. Once a person clicks on that particular link, then the malware means virus spreads through that also. That is one of the way. And the second way,
Okay.
if I have to speak, it can spread using the strange link which is present on the third party websites. Once a person
Hmm.
clicks on the links, once he is visiting any third party sites, through that also the virus can spread. And the other way, it can spread using the by using the free public Wi-Fi's. And if I have to say, if it can also spread in other ways, like if anyone is having the pen drive, publicly someone has picked up the pen drive containing the malicious program. Once someone comes and insert it into their organization's laptop, through that also the malware can spread, Abhishek.
So there are different ways in which the malware spreads, right? I mean,
Yes.
there's not the one way. If phishing or a
Yes.
public Wi-Fi or third-party website, or even physically, if somebody kind of find a free price, hey, it's free, I apply, and then being jackpotted by ransom. So let's move it to a little bit of more further understanding. Are all ransomwares the same, or there is a kind of a classification in ransomware?
Yes, Abhishek, there is actually a classification. So, if we have to talk about particular forms, there are the two different forms of ransomware that are actually famous all over the world right now. They are the one is the locker ransomware and the other one is the crypto ransomware. Where if I have to speak about the locker ransomware is something that will lock down the basic computer functionalities. So if you really want to access that computer again, you won't be able to access it since it's containing already a virus inside it. And second one is
So
the crypto ransomware. Crypto ransomware, where crypto ransomware will encrypt the stored data, which is containing the sensitive informations like it may be important documents or important files, so that nobody will be able to gain access to the sensitive information, the one who is already having it. So that is about the crypto ransomware.
So to summarize, you have two. One is a lock, as it the name
Yes.
suggests, it locks your system down. I think many people would have, when I experienced it a long time back. And the second one being, okay, sorry, there was a technical glitch. So basically, there are two kind of ransomware that we're talking about. One is the locker ransomware, and then there was the crypto ransomware. In locker, your computer gets locked, and in crypto, basically
Yes.
your important information. So basically, what encryption? What does actually mean? So encryption is when your plain text information is being put into symbols or numbers so that other people can't read it. So that's how it is. So let's move on to the
Yes.
next one. Can you tell me this month news, since we are talking about ransomware and it's been the highlight of the month, what are the
Highlight.
most important news that are covered in this ransomware today in this
Yes.
edition?
Okay. Okay. Yes, Abhishek. Actually, this month I have covered a number of ransomware news. So I would like to highlight one among them for now. So the first one is the Hive ransomware attack on the New York's Racing Association. This is the first piece of news which I will be covering right now. First thing is Hive ransomware is a ransomware gang, or it's called basically a name of a ransomware group, which is just a 1 year old group, which is considered as one of the most top active ransomware groups of the world right now. So they are being more prone to ransomware hacking. This is called as the most prone ransomware hacking group. So what actually they have attacked on the racing association from the New York and impacted the business and affected the people by compromising the credentials, like very sensitive informations, using the user having the username and the passwords. This was the main thing that they have did in the uh, ransomware attack of this month, Abhishek. This is the main highlight of this month.
Hive has been the major. So since we're talking about the gang of the ransomware, one
Yes.
year old, and this attack, let's understand that how can we protect ourselves from ransom attack? Would like some tips to the audiences.
Okay. Yes, Abhishek. If we have to talk about prevention, it can be prevented by. There are many ways again to prevent for prevention. There are few ways which I will be noting now. It can be prevented by updating the application with the latest version of the software, and it can also be prevented by adopting the subscribed antivirus solutions. And the other way is it
Okay.
can be prevented by adopting the subscribed VPN solutions. So these are the basic ways which need to be implemented, Abhishek, in any application in order to stop
In-
from the ransomware attack.
So your VPN also, your antiviruses also make sure that you buy the right one rather
Yes.
than using the freewares available, because there's nothing free. If something is free, it's getting compromised somewhere. Absolutely, it makes sense about it. So that's really, thank you so much, Lakshmi, for the ransomware part. Let's move to the other interesting things that are happening here. The first one is the news that I. Sorry, guys, I had to join from Lakshmi's place because things were not loading. So, Lakshmi, basically, what I was talking about is the hackers stealing 4.6 millions of money, 4.6 million dollars from healthcare. So, basically, what happened is that a threat actor, he got over his hands on the credentials from the healthcare company. So, a lot of healthcare information he got. What he did is he replaced the banking information. For example, in America or US, banking information is also associated with the healthcare function. And later on that, he replaced it with his own banking information. So basically, the money got siphoned into his account, and that actually went for 4.6 million. Now, basically, why I want to highlight this news in today's talk is people consider healthcare as not very, very relevant. So that's a big, important reason that we have to understand that yes, nobody can do nothing with your direct healthcare information, but if your healthcare is associated, some credentials are there that can be used against you, like here
fraudulent billing, we can say, where people replacing your own banking information with their banking information. So money, rather than coming to your account, goes to the hacker's account. So that's the one thing. The second piece of news that I wanted to highlight today is the credential stuffing attack. So basically, if you ask me what is credential stuffing is, okay, let's understand. We have got, say, abc@gmail.com, and my password will be like abhishek@123. Now, hacker knows that, okay, most of the people use the same password. So somehow, once they get a hand over your login and password, say xyz@gmail.com, abhishek@123 is my password, they try to use it on different sites, Amazon and Flipkart, Facebook, Instagram. Now imagine I have been so stupid and I have used the same password on my banking. What will happen? That's it. The money is gone out. Exactly. So the news has come as that 34% of all the login attempt has been through the credential stuffing attack due to what is called as password recycling. Password recycling means using the same kind of password over and over again on different kind of platforms. So that's it from my end. And what's the next piece of news that you have?
Yes,
yeah, the Queen Elizabeth news, right?
Yes.
You would like to tell us more about the Queen Elizabeth scam?
Yes, Abhishek. It's actually really shocking that the hackers are capitalizing the death of any individual for their own benefits.
Correct.
What actually happened here was the scammers has used the name of the Microsoft and the death of the Queen Elizabeth in the name to steal the private informations like passwords and the account details.
Okay.
What actually the hacker did here was the scammers have been running the email scam where the victim gets the email which pretends to be looking like it's from the message, like email from the Microsoft, asking people to write their messages to the Queen as a tribute of honor for the majesty of her death by logging into their account with logging into their Microsoft account. So messages that contain the links has the URL redirections that was redirected to the harvesting, credential harvesting page through, and then it has targeted the Microsoft email credentials as well as the multi-factor authentication collections.
So basically, in this scenario, what has happened is that cold-hearted criminals, they didn't even care about the death of any person, using that using that sympathy that people might want to write a tribute to Her Majesty, former Queen Elizabeth. They created a fake page and they urged the people to use their Microsoft account. And when the Microsoft accounts were used, the login and passwords were used, they steal it from behind and compromise their accounts. So because if they have used other places, credential stuffing would have happened. So hackers don't have any ethics, audience. They take up even the tiniest of crack in the system, they're able to capitalize. This is a clear-cut example of social engineering, understanding human sympathy and capitalizing on it. So, for what are the things that we can do to protect ourselves from this scam?
First thing, what we can do in order to mitigate this, always we have to check for the senders of the mail. Most often, we all know that most often when there will obviously be a spelling error in the name, as the scammers cannot copy the official domain of any particular organization, right? So first we have to check for the senders of the mail. This is one thing we can do.
Briskinfosec.com. I know that that's the correct domain. If it's coming from Briskinfosec.io or LA or whatever, I should be aware that it's not the correct one.
Yes. Okay. The second one is usually the fake emails also contains the typos or the grammatical errors.
Yeah, that's very important. Even the easiest of the spelling.
So we have to make sure that the email has come from the authenticated source. So that is other thing. The other thing, if we have to talk, is companies do not. First thing, we should always make sure that companies do not send out the emails asking for the sensitive information for anyone.
Correct.
So if at all anybody is asking for such suspicious. If we find any such suspicious emails, we have to make sure we will not be replying for such emails.
Make sure, people don't ask sensitive information on the email. We have to be very careful. If somebody is demanding a sensitive information, make sure you call those people, make sure that it's not. So these are the few things that we can take care in order not to be falling in that scam. Now, coming to the final piece of news that I'm here discussing today is about Intercontinental Hotel Group. It's one of the biggest hotel group on the planet. Now, what has happened? Now, hotel groups have sensitive information related to credit cards, whatever people are paying them across, and that information is stored. So, what we understand from the reporting is that the biggest hotel group, IHG, had a system leak in their IT, and the booking system got disrupted and hackers got access to the booking system. Now, what information has been leaked has not been verified from the hotel end. They just said that hackers have definitely jumped into their system and something has happened and their booking system has been disrupted. Now, the point here to note is that it's one of the biggest group. Definitely, they have deployed security. It's across the globe. They have hotels across the globe. So definitely, they have taken all the security measures. Yet they were vulnerable. Yet their booking system was vulnerable. Yet the hacker was able to get in. So we all need to be understanding from the overall scenario what we ran today, taking from the ransomware to the healthcare and to all the other things. One thing is very, very crucial is that does not matter what kind of solution we deploy, does not matter what kind of cybersecurity systems we deploy, does not matter what kind of VAPT we do. At the end of the day, it all boils down to the human intelligence, because we are all hackable, we are all can be social engineered. So we all need to be careful, and awareness is important. That is the reason today we wanted to make sure that before we release the Threatsploit report, we wanted to make you guys run you across this. Wishing you a very happy Cybersecurity Safety Month. We're going to drop this report across the social medias and through the emails. Please do read it. Please do understand it. Please do come back to us to understand it further. Your safety is our priority. If you're watching this, let me repeat, your safety is our priority. Please stay on this. And thank you, Lakshmi, so much. Despite the technical glitches, really apologies to the audience. There was a technical glitch, but finally Lakshmi and me managed to salvage through, because this is so important to us. That's why we wanted to continue and deliver this. Thank you so much and have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.